Do not fear theocracy, folks. That is a chimera. That is nonsense, a mirage.
This is Eric Metaxas, a self-avowed and self-described Christian nationalist, an extremist, and he's incredibly influential in the Trumpist/political world. So I wanted to talk a little bit about him because he had some wacky stuff to say recently. Not only did he have some wacky stuff to say recently, but he's been saying this wacky stuff for years, as it turns out. Let's just listen to the rest of that clip. Give him the benefit of the doubt. You know, maybe I took him out of context there. Let's hear him out. See what he said. This is from mid-July 2021, by the by. So, yeah, let's listen to the whole thing here.
This nation was founded by Christian people. And the reason we are essentially a Christian nation is because as true Christians, we believe we don't want a theocracy. We want freedom. We want any atheist, every Jew, every Muslim, anybody to be welcome here, because that is at the heart of the Christian faith. We cannot force our faith on anyone. That is idiotic. Many have done it in the past. There are many radical Muslims trying to force their faith on people right now.
He's mocking this idea right now. It sounds like he's endorsing it and describing something he believes. He's not. He's making fun of it. Keep listening.
Muslims trying to force their faith on people right now. There are many radical atheists in nations like China and North Korea trying to force their faith on people. A true Christian says faith is free. Belief in Jesus can never be coerced. It is a gift from God. So if maniacal...
So, and now everybody is clapping for that. Keep listening.
Maniacal Christians took control of this country, they would make it safe for everybody else to be a part of this country. So do not fear theocracy, folks. That is a chimera. That is nonsense, a mirage.
The guy believes in theocracy. I have a billion examples of this in reality. I mean, he's on a TV show called Flashpoint regularly, pretty frequently, where they espouse that exact position. Theocracy is a good thing. We want more of it. They say that on there with him all the time. I mean, this clip doesn't have like any material purpose to this story, so I'm not going to play the whole thing, but this is just an example of Eric Metaxas on the Flashpoint TV show being prophesied over and being told that his book is like a holy book, basically like the Bible.
Eric, very quickly, the Spirit of the Lord says this book that I've given to you now is meant to wake up my church, to protect my church, to anoint a remnant who shall arise in this time, because God says it will be used, this book. There is an anointing that I have placed upon this book to break the spirit of Fourth Reich that would try to rise
Fourth Reich
up in the earth, but in this country. And God says, I have given you the hand of the ready writer. I have given you an anointing that shall destroy that which shall arise and seek to be revisited once.
Dude, I don't even know what they're saying. The point is, he's trying to prophesy over this regular book that this guy wrote. He's been on Flashpoint a billion times. He's a very close friend of the show. And this is Flashpoint. Listen to what Gene Bailey, the host, has had to say on Christian nationalism.
Our events this year are different than what you went to last year, so that's why you need to come. There are 2 nights, Thursday night and Friday night. Friday during the day, you're going to have lots of training, and I hate that when I say training because that sounds really boring, and I can't stand boring. These are not boring things you're going to go to. You're going to learn, but it's going to be fun. You're going to enjoy it. A lot of stuff happening.
And what are you going to learn, I hear you asking?
You say, well, what kind of training is that? What kind of stuff? These flash talks, I'm calling them flash talks, okay? What you're going to learn from this flash, how to go back to your house, wherever you live, and learn how to flip your school board so that your kids, if they're going to public school, you can start taking over the school board. And you go, well, that sounds like we're trying to take over the world. Yes, we are. I fully admit that. That's exactly what we're doing.
They're trying to take over the world. These are all, these are people that work together frequently and all share and espouse the same views together. Eric Metaxas is a Christian nationalist and an extremist and has intentions to force his beliefs on other people. From his lips and from the lips of everybody that he associates with, That's how they feel. Here's another example of this exact idea being espoused by friends of Eric Metaxas. This is Tony Perkins, second from the right. He's the leader of Family Research Council, a think tank. Listen to what he has to say on the subject of taking over the world for theocracy.
We should be, happy warriors. We were created for this. It wasn't like this is just something that happens to fall upon us at this moment. Yeah. We were created to be warriors for Christ, especially as men. We're to lead our families as warriors. Now, that terminology has been, maligned by the culture that we're, these, Christian warriors from a standpoint of we're trying to take over the world. Yeah, we are. The kingdom.
Yeah, from a
that you think that makes it better? Are you kidding me? That makes it maybe worse. You're trying to take over the world for the kingdom? You think that improved what you just said at all? These people want to take over the world for the kingdom. These are all the same people that work together and talk to each other and the whole 9 yards, and they all have the same goal. Well, Eric Metaxas has his own TV show that he runs, and he has this guy on like a lot, like a weirdly common guest to have on his show, right? Dude's name is John Zimmerak, I believe, and he is just out there, man. Listen to what he had to say recently, mid-September 2022. Check this out.
When the Nazis attacked Jewish stores.
Starting off on level 10, okay? Let's keep going.
And got away with it. That told people persecution, real genocidal persecution is down the road. Right now in America, our government and the leftist institutions that support it, from the Ivy League to large numbers of churches, to the mainstream of the Republican Party, which supports it by being afraid to fight it, it's reminding me of the buildup in the 1990s in Rwanda, the buildup towards genocide. The Hutus were the majority, but they weren't as wealthy or successful as the minority Tutsis. So they resented them. They wanted their stuff. They wanted their power. They wanted their money.
Wow, dude. Oh my God. I don't even know what to do with all of this. What he's doing is espousing a conspiracy theory called white genocide, and he's using the Rwandan genocide as the pretext for that, or the basis for that. If you have any context to inform you about the situation he's describing, you are absolutely disgusted by what he just said. Honestly, you're probably disgusted anyways. There is no white genocide happening in America right now, or anywhere in the world. It's just, this is fabricated. This is a fabricated problem that exists only in this guy's head. He needs to be persecuted. He needs it. And he's simply not. He's in the majority group. He is white. He's a Christian, male, straight, cis person. He has no factors that lead to persecution. So he's going to make some up, naturally.
Money, and they started demonizing the Tutsis, calling them cockroaches on radio shows. News hosts would refer to Tutsi cockroaches. The way I see people talking about white people, about Christians, about so-called Christian nationalists.
Dude, what Christians or Christian nationalists are being called cockroaches? First of all, I personally never insult people, ever. I do my best not to, at least not publicly. Sometimes when I'm sitting alone with friends or something, I'll call somebody a complete moron or something. And that's just me honestly analyzing their level of intelligence. I'm not like trying to be insulting. I certainly try not to insult people from a public platform or demonize them or anything like that. But this guy desperately needs to be persecuted, so he's going to stretch things just enough to make it seem like he is persecuted.
They talk about us the same way.
Okay, John, I want to interrupt. I wrote an article, folks. I think it was back in April or May. It was published at The Stream, and it was written by Russell Moore, who's the head of Christianity Today now. Okay, think of it.
Christianity Today, I believe, is a website, right? Yeah, it's like a kind of a news website that talks all about Christianity, Christian news, why the pro-life movement still needs Jesus, a terrorist attack on Connell G's church. I don't even know if this is true. Yeah, it's just a bunch of propaganda, it appears. Southern Baptist Church planter killed on plane crash. The hell is a Baptist church planter? I've never heard that before. We live in Babylon, not Israel. Anyway, that's what Christianity Today is. It's pretty well known, I think.
The head of Christianity Today. And it was an article in very highfalutin language doing exactly what John just said, demonizing people who are culturally or politically conservative, who are white, demonizing them.
Isn't that interesting? John was talking about, John Zimmerak, the other guy, he was talking about white genocide right now, just now. That's what he was referring to. And he said, people are doing that to people who are conservative, white. He said it as though they're the same. You have to be white to be conservative. You have to be conservative to be white. He's linked the two almost in his brain. I don't know that he's doing this intentionally to make a point, maybe, to the audience, but he's most definitely connected them in his brain. You can't be one without the other in his mind. And if you aren't conservative but you are white, you're a race traitor. If that's the mindset, like, I don't know if that's his mindset, that's the mindset that this eventually, inevitably leads to. It's pure, unadulterated tribalism that we're watching play out in front of us right now.
Them in the pages of Christianity Today. I wrote a response to it, which John published at stream.org. But I want to tell you, we're not making this up.
You are. You are absolutely making this up.
If you ignore this now, you become part of the problem. Silence in the face of evil is itself evil. This is really wicked. I want to be honest. I want to be clear. This is really wicked. John is not exaggerating about it.
He is. In fact, he just said that, there's a white genocide happening. He just compared it to what happened in Rwanda. You must be joking. You can't be serious. You can't be sitting here telling me he's not exaggerating, right?
Wicked. John is not exaggerating about this.
He is. He's saying that with a straight face. This is insane. This is absolutely unhinged. It gets even worse than that, though. John Zimmerak and Eric Metaxas seem to be quite the duo because he comes on his show all the time. Check this one out, mid-August 2022.
This is spiritual warfare, and we are now in the Normandy landing of.
Okay, that is one too many references to World War II for me. At the beginning, didn't he say that white Christians are being treated the same as Jews during World War II or something like that? And now he's saying that we're storming the beaches of Normandy.
Of spiritual warfare. The Democratic Party is possessed by preternatural evil. It is not a human institution anymore. It is an instrument of wicked spirits. This is demonic. Our enemies are demonic. There's no turning the other cheek. There's no being winsome. There's no compromise possible.
And I want to be clear.
Dude, this is so sad. This is so sad how he views the world. How he views himself in the world as a perpetual victim. I mean, doesn't he criticize, left-wing snowflakes who get triggered all the time, quote unquote, for being perpetual victims? This is like when Tim Pool screams about people doing identity politics and then talks about how he's Asian and suffers as a consequence of being Asian constantly. Like, it's either one or the other. Either people are acting like victims and they should pull themselves up by their bootstraps, or you are being victimized. Either identity politics is a problem, or you are the victim of identity politics. It can't be both. Well, in their heads, it can. They seem to have no problem with simultaneously held contradicting beliefs, aka cognitive dissonance.
Theologically, because in the past, if you don't clarify these things, people misinterpret them.
Oh, my mistake. Did I misinterpret what he just said? He said the Democratic Party is a tool of Satan and people are possessed by demons who vote Democrat, right? Okay? Correct me, please. My mistake.
People misinterpret them. Well, folks, we're not saying that these people are demons. We're saying that they're being used by demons, and we need to understand that at the heart of all this, this is a spiritual battle. There's no other way to make sense of it. If you're solving for X, if you know how to do algebra, you solve for X, you don't even need to believe in God. This will make you believe in God. This will make you understand. When you look at this, you say, there is no other possible explanation. If I connect all the dots, it doesn't make any sense. Greed, politics, nothing could account for what we're seeing except something genuinely, spiritually dark and wicked.
Okay, and now here's where it gets interesting. So it couldn't possibly, nothing could explain what we're seeing, right, other than demon possession. And what are we seeing, I hear you asking? The thing that he believes that we're seeing are all of these absurd, inexplicable culture war issues that don't even exist, that only exist in his head. The claims you hear from these people constantly, like they're trying to take our gas stoves. No one is trying to take your gas stoves, okay? The Biden administration released a report saying that running a gas stove without proper ventilation is really bad for your lungs. The byproducts produced can lead to results similar to living with a smoker. It's not good for you. So either you should have proper ventilation or you should get like an induction stove or something like that. And what did they do with that information? They literally turned their gas stoves on and let them run with closed windows in retaliation against the Biden administration. They literally are killing themselves faster to get one over on the libs. So what are we seeing that leads these people to believe that the Democratic Party is possessed by demons? Nothing. We are seeing nothing. They are seeing demons around every corner. They're seeing persecution every time they open their eyes because that's what they want to see. They're disconnected from reality, and I don't know if they will ever reconnect with the rest of society. How do you live in a world where everything and everybody is out to get you 24/7? How does this happen to a human being? To live in such a bizarre universe like this. Listen to this one, mid-January 2023.
The folks who are in prison right now, when they get out, they're going to get activated. We're
talking about the January 6th, the seditionists, people that were charged with seditious conspiracy against the U.S. government. Those are the people we're talking about right now.
The next Republican president needs to first pardon the January 6th dissidents and then endorse them as candidates for Congress. I want to see a Republican Congress who's the majority of January 6th people.
Wow. Literal seditionists against the U.S. government. I mean, they've been charged and sentenced with this for some of these people, and they want them to run for Congress and take the government over anyways. What kind of fantasy land do these people live in? This is insane.
People. That is what we need in America. People who have firsthand experienced the jackboot of our elites and our new public health dictatorship on their faces, who still have the tread marks of the jackboots on their faces, the way the Irish rebels who had survived the crackdown in 1916 and the American patriots who survived the crackdown in 1773 went on to lead their new free countries.
Wait, so 1773. When did the Revolutionary War start? He's saying that it started in 1773. Yeah, it started in 1775. What's he talking about, 1773? What?
And the American patriots who survived the crackdown in 1773.
Oh, I guess there could have been some crackdown I was unaware of in 1773. Okay.
Went on to lead their new free countries. This country now needs to be freed. It no longer is free. It is subject to something, to a political strategy that is called anarcho-tyranny.
So this dude is endorsing violence to get his way, political violence to accomplish his political goals. That's insane. I'm sorry. That is absolutely nuts. That's unhinged from reality. I mean, we have listened to example after example of this guy endorse and encourage theocracy and call out white genocide of all things. Claim that he's being persecuted nonstop. Claim the Democrats are being controlled by demons and something needs to be done about it. Is he ever going to come back to reality with the rest of us? Ever? I would love to have a coffee with this guy if he ever came to the same universe as us. I fear that he will never know what it's like to live with other human beings in regular, real reality because he is so far out in La La Land. This is nuts, dude. Let me know what you think about this guy in the comments. I am morbidly fascinated by his views.